Good evening. My name is Alvaro Montano. I'm going to be discussing attitudes, the definition, and structure. This chapter introduces the concept of attitudes as it relates to persuasion, along with an explanation of beliefs and values. It discusses the structure and consistency of attitudes. It discusses the importance and relation between attitudes, beliefs, and values in the world of communication and public relations. The chapter begins with the basic concept of attitude. Attitude is a psychological construct. It is a mental and emotional entity that inheres in or characterizes the person. Although, in some sense, we do infer a person's attitude from what he or she says or does, it would be a mistake to assume that for this reason attitudes are not real or are mere mental constructs. Over the past century, many definitions for attitude have been proposed, such as an association between a given object and a given evaluation, a psychological tendency that is expressed by evaluating a particular entity with some degree of favor or disfavor, a learned predisposition to respond and in a consistently favorable or unfavorable manner with respect to a given object, and a more or less permanently enduring state of readiness of mental organization which predisposes an individual to react in a characteristic way to any object or situation which it is related. The characteristics of attitudes are learned. People are not born with attitudes. Through socialization and everyday life, people acquire attitudes. For example, children don't naturally discriminate against kids with different skin color or religious preferences. Over time, you begin to come up with prejudiced attitudes. The word attitude is commonly thought of as a negative idea. However, not all attitudes are negative. People can have positive attitudes, acquired and portray their attitudes in a positive light. Attitudes are basically evaluations. Whenever you have an attitude about something, you have made an evaluation and categorized something. Or in other words, you have made a judgment about its value or worth. Attitudes are a sense of organization in our social worlds. They help us categorize everything such as people, places, and things and figure out what is going on. Attitudes have a direct relationship with the terms values and beliefs, mostly because they are examples of attitudes. If you have a certain belief about something, you have an attitude about it. There is a difference, however, between values and beliefs. Values are ideals that are guiding principles in one's lives. For example, they can transcend or celebrate selfish concerns, while beliefs are more specific and cognitive. For example, a person might have the belief that girls talk more about relationships than guys do. Given that attitudes are complex macromolecules with so many different components, are they in harmony or in disarray? It is pleasant when we are all of one mind on an issue, when our general attitude is in sync with specific beliefs about the topic or has the same electrical charge as our feelings. However, life does not always grant us this pleasure. Ambivalence can frequently be consistent among groups of people with similar interests. Most of the time, attitudes will be consistent. Overall, attitudes are emotional, evaluative, frequently formed at a young age, are a core dimension of persuasion. Attitudes, after all, are the entities that communicators seek to shape, reinforce, mold, and change. An attitude is defined as a learned global evaluation of an object, person, place, or issue that influences thought and action. Values underlie or shape attitudes. Values are guiding principles in an individual's life. They include universal values like freedom and self enhancing values such as achievement, beliefs defined as cognitions about the world in turn are viewed as components of attitudes. People cling tenaciously to beliefs, sometimes assuming their beliefs are facts or not. There are two types of beliefs: descriptive beliefs, the perception of the world that people carry in their heads, and perspic- per- perspic- perscrip- prescriptive beliefs, or mental prescriptions of what should or ought to happen in life. Persuaders can change attitudes by gaining insights into their complex structure. They could focus on changing beliefs, altering the symbolic effect associated with beliefs, or target messages at bedrock moral principles. They can also encourage individuals to alter elements of their attitudes so as to gain cognitive harmony. In some cases, these persuasion attempts can fail, but in other instances, guided by a persuader who combines the science and art of persuasion, the appeals can prove stunningly successful. Thank you.